later on AM Extra. Speaking of drive-in movies, we're going to talk about a couple other drive-in movie spots popping up around Oregon so you can make your entertainment plans on wheels. All that coming up a little bit later this morning.
All right, now we are keeping an eye on your entertainment today. So Star Trek fans have something new to check out today.
All right, a new animated show putting a comedic spin on the beloved sci-fi series. Take a look.
Captain's Log. Stardate 57436.2. First contact is a delicate, high-stakes operation of diplomacy. One must be ready for anything.
Are you pretending to do a captain's log?
We're all supposed to keep logs.
Okay, let me listen to it.
No, go away. Leave me alone.
I can't believe you're wasting your shore leave on
Star Trek Lower Decks follows a support crew on one of the Starfleet's least important ships. It was just released today on CBS All Access. And joining us live this morning with a preview, two of the actors you'll be hearing in the show, Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid. Good morning to you both.
Hello. Morning. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So I take it, I mean, just from that clip, I can tell this is not your typical Star Trek show. I love the comedy twist on things. What made you guys want to get involved?
I mean, I've been a lifelong Trek fan. I grew up with that 90s trifecta of The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. And I never saw myself, because I'm primarily a comedic actor, I never saw myself fitting into the Star Trek franchise. And so to be able to do that in a comedic way, also, I mean, voice acting is the best because you don't have to leave your house anymore. So it's a great job all around.
I do all of mine right there in that closet.
Oh, nice. It's a good pandemic gig, that's for sure.
Well, tell us about who your characters are. And let's start with Jack.
Yes, so I play Ensign Brad Boimler. I describe him as the ultimate Starfleet nerd. In the sense that he really wants to be a captain. He's heard about Picard, he's heard about Kirk, and he's just the biggest possible fan of those guys. And therefore, he is desperate to rank up above an ensign, so he sticks to the rules. He doesn't have a single demerit. But, I always say that if he was taking a driver's test, he would nail the written portion, but absolutely fail once he actually got behind the wheel of a car. Not too street smart. And that's where Tawny's character comes in.
Yeah, I play Ensign Mariner, who is also an ensign, but the difference is that she's been around a little bit longer. We get the sense that she has served on a lot of ships. Maybe she's gotten demoted a few times, so she definitely has the street smarts element of it that maybe Boimler's lacking, but she also doesn't have a lot of patience for Starfleet bureaucracy. So she can be a little irreverent. They're definitely kind of an odd couple, they vex each other, but it's also a really nuanced look at like a very layered adult friendship, which I think is really cool. So there's a lot of support too.
Nice. Okay. I mean, in getting ready for these roles, Tawny, I know I just finished watching Space Force, which I loved. Loved watching you in that, by the way. So was that part of your space background? You're really just kind of getting into the world of space here. What kind of research did you guys do for a Star Trek role?
Yeah, well, what's funny is that I feel like when I joined Space Force, being a Star Trek fan already, I was kind of like, wow, is it weird that I don't know that much about real space? Most of my space knowledge comes from this science fiction show. So I was probably better suited for Star Trek than I was for Space Force. Yeah, it's hard for me to know sometimes, okay, what is real? What's happening in the real universe? Let's just
also the Space Force logo in real life looks like the Star Trek logo.
Right. They're kind of similar. Yeah.
I got a lot of texts that day about my worlds just crashing together.
Worlds colliding.
I was one of those texts.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, Jack, did you have to read up on any Trek stuff, or did you feel like you were pretty well versed already?
I wasn't that too well versed, actually. I had seen the J.J. Abrams movies, which I loved. I had seen a few episodes here and there of the original series, but I really just relied heavily on both Tawny and our showrunner, Mike McMahon, who are both huge Trek nerds, very well versed in the lore of everything. And, they've told me all the best episodes to watch to get myself prepared. So, I'm just thanking you all profusely. Mike, the whole team.
It gave me a chance to rewatch some things or to remind myself about characters I hadn't thought about in a while. It's a good text thread to be on.
Yeah, it was mostly me just texting them at 9:30 p.m. being like, what's a Boolean? What's but I'm learning, man. It's great.
Oh, that's fantastic. So would you say the show is for everyone to watch, not just Star Trek fans?
I would, yeah. I think Mike and the writers have done a really good job of keeping the balance between, like, there's a ton of references and Easter eggs. So if you are a big fan, like my mom is a huge Trek fan, and when she
Mm.
watched it, she was pausing it like every 3 seconds to tell me things that I knew, but she was so excited to talk about. But then it's also very accessible. You know, I watched it with a friend who'd never seen any Star Trek before because it's funny and the character relationships, like you can get invested in them. So I think it's for people who like good stuff.
Awesome. I'm excited to check it out. As a nerd but a limited Trekkie, I'm just getting into the world of Star Trek, so I'm excited to see it. Star Trek Lower Decks on the CBS All Access streaming service right now. Tawny, Jack, thank you so much for joining us. Instead of saying goodbye, we'll say live long and prosper. Can you guys do the
Absolutely.
Live long and
Thank
prosper.
you.
live long and
Got it
prosper?
here.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.